Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Downover. I'm joined today by Blanchard. Geoff Blanchard, 008. Hello, Geoff. How are you today?
Good, thank you, Rick. I don't know where the 008 come from, but it sounds nice.
It sounds very good. You could have been 009, but we promoted you.
Oh, that's right. And you can't be 007. That's already been taken.
And Miss Moneypenny wasn't here today, but we have Miss Quarter Inch.
Quarter Inch, huh?
Quarter Inch.
That's good.
Yes, it's quite good. Here we go. And we are back. I'm Rick Zanotti, and I'm joined by Double Agent 008, also known as Geoff Blanchard, good friend and co-host. How you doing today, Geoff?
Good, thank you. I've been busy this week catching up on some webinars, and there was quite a few out there from Telestream, you know, the one who put out...
Yes, Wirecast.
What's it? Wirecast, of
Wirecast.
course. And watching a couple of those ones, so that was quite handy to catch up, see... sometimes when you see these basic things, you think, I know all that, but you pick up some really good tips on that. So one thing
And I just noticed in your background, you've actually got moving monitors. Some of the monitors are doing things.
Yes, they are.
That's very cool.
Yep, they're all... Well, it's my studio. It's I've got the assistant there pushing all the buttons.
The assistant's doing everything. Good for them. Changing now remember, be nice to them. Up them to minimum wage before it's over.
I did have one thing with the Wirecast, so I've still had that problem when I connect it. I still only can get left channel on one of my microphones, and I did ask them about that, and it said must be a problem with my just XLR. If I put my cheap just normal USB mic on there, it works perfectly. But I think I've got to. When
that's
I come out through the Onyx.
Is that the Onyx, the Blackjack? Yeah. You know why? I have the same issue on that one because it does each channel individually. There is a way, I think, around that. If you go into the channel on the recording, you may be able to change it to a stereo channel. There may be something that can change into stereo. There's another trick around that. Oh, you're going through USB. You may be able to change it in the actual channel itself to stereo. Now, it doesn't matter. When you come on this one, if you use that, it converts it to automatic dual channel.
That's
because
right.
We're outputting the A and B together. So it's automatically a mono signal. It doesn't show up in one ear or the other.
No, but that's good for this because I'm going through Skype for the sound and not through Wirecast.
Right.
For that, that's why it's doing that. But they did say that's one of the things that they'll hopefully put in a later release. But I think what I'd have to do is get a small mixer so I can take that signal and push it out to 2 channels.
Right. Now, you know what you could do? Now, you know what you could do on, for example, if you were using vMix, vMix has... And I'm trying to think if Wirecast has something like this where you can say make it stereo. I'm not sure. You know, when you go into the channel settings for each channel, I think there is something on audio. Maybe you can convert it to a stereo or mono. In which case, if you're mono, it should show up on both.
Well, that's right. And like on the Onyx that I've got there is a mono stereo button, and it does, when I press that button, it goes in one ear, and then I'm going through both ears. So I would have thought what I was outputting through the headphones would be coming out through the jack. But anyway, I'll keep trying. But at the moment, if I do broadcast just through Wirecast, I get a single channel. But it's okay, I suppose, on there. But you'd want to have it come through both because a lot of people do listen in stereo these days.
Right.
So you're just coming out one side of the channel. So
and it drives people nuts then. It drives, and they walk around like this because their head's off balance, so it's not good.
That's right.
Now, you know, we were talking in the pre-show a little bit about the Canon 70D, the EOS 70D, and that is already a little over 2 years old, or right around 2 years old. There are rumors. I saw some podcast the other day, but it was done by some idiot who just was really bad. I think it was all made up, but they were talking that they had pictures of an 80D. Now, I don't know if they're going to add another number to it at this point, because then they have 80, 90, and they're done, unless they go to 100D or something. So I'm not sure, but the way these companies are doing it now, they're coming out with the Mark IIs, Mark IIIs. So there may be a 70D Mark II, but no word on it. I did a search the other day for it to see if we could talk about it today. Could not find a thing. And Canon, of course, if you call them, wouldn't tell you anything because they probably don't know either. When the 70D originally came out, there were rumors and rumors and rumors, and before you knew it, it was out and nobody knew. It came out before all the rumors. Mm-hmm.
And there's the what's the top one? It's the 1D, isn't it? That's
yes, the 1DS or 1 some.
Mm-hmm. Things about some update of that coming in August, but like everything, it's a lot of them leave their things till August, September, and put them out there for the Christmas rush.
Right.
Because then even if it's not a great product, they get a lot of market share out of that with Christmas coming up. But
now,
I was just
go ahead.
I was just thinking about Canon, Panasonic, and all that this morning, and I thought, gee, they're good marketers, aren't they? They've got us both saying like and don't like, so they've both keep us going because there's things we like about both of them, and there's things we don't like about both of them. But
it's true. That's
why we have to have both of them, so because to get everything we like.
They just came out with a new camera which is very similar to the FZ1000. Is it the G3? I think GX3 or I think it's GX3 maybe. Well, that one, and I didn't have anything on it for the show today. Then you brought that up about what we like and don't like. I thought about that because it doesn't have the zoom, I think, or maybe it does. Maybe that one goes up to 600, but it is similar, but it now has a headphone jack and an input jack. So it had both. Oh, no, this I think had replaceable lenses. So I was going, now wait a minute. Okay. So it's lesser than the GH4, but along the same lines of the FZ, but you have replaceable lenses. I don't get it sometimes. Now, why do we do this? And they call this line extension. And a lot of companies just screw themselves over to no end because rather than keep what they have, they start adding models to confuse people. Why do we need this one? And why are there four in between that one to the other? I don't get it.
So I like the FZ 1000, and they've already put another one out, which is I think just about the 500 or something. It looks identical to the FZ 1000. It still does 4K, but it must be somewhere down spec because it's about half the price. But as I said, but
they're very similar
shapes, and that's when you've got to say, well, why? And they are all different, but just when looking at them, you say, well, where's the difference? And it does get a bit confusing.
And that's the issue because what they're doing is they're catering to what they call line extension again. So you have a line that extends stupidly into a different model that makes, because now you're diffusing the top model and the lesser model. So you're going, and the difference is a couple $100 usually. So you're saying, okay, if you're going for the people who can afford $400, and then there's another one for those who can afford $500, and another one for $700, and another one for $900. I mean, at one point, come on, let the people with the 700 just wait for the 900 until they can afford it. If they're that tight, they shouldn't buy it anyway. It just doesn't make sense. It's too many cameras in the same space, all with one or less features than the previous one. So I think they irritate everybody doing that.
But like they said with Apple, one of their strong points used to be that there was such an easy range. Yes, you wanted an iPod, an iPad, you got one.
Yep.
And that was it. But now they've introduced, which one is it? The iPad Air, the Mini, and then same with the phones. You used to have just a standard phone. Now you can still get the 5S. 6 Plus.
Now they're planning. There's rumors that they're going to come out with an iPad 12-inch, and the rumors they're going to call it the Maxi Pad, and women will love it. So I'm not sure. I don't know.
Maxi, I know where you go with that. But even then, with you saying the amount of brands, like Apple has said, they might have 5 or 6 different models in the iPad, but then you look at Samsung, they've got 30. In their same tablet with all the different options.
I know.
And that's what I hate, buying things like that, and that's why I end up buying the top of the range, the most expensive.
Right.
Then I know I've got everything, because if I buy anything underneath, I'm always, that's what I wanted on it. It was on that model, so I always end up buying the dearer one, so I don't feel left out.
And they take out the stupidest things or put in the stupidest things. You just go, really? I mean, why? It makes no sense. And to me, it's complicating the manufacturing process for no real reason other than the companies are insane. They're trying to get any market share they can. I think it would make more sense to come out with a product every 2 years than every single year, because what happens is people like you and me are starting not to buy them anymore. We're waiting. Because the minute you buy a 70D right now, the 70 or 80D would come out within a week.
Oh, that's right.
And you'd hate yourself for it. I mean, that's what happened on things I bought. It's like, wait a minute, I just bought this and now there's a new model? Oh, that happened to me when I bought the PowerShot G15. Within 3 months, the G16 came out. I went, what? It's like, And now there is a new PowerShot. I think it's the G17 or I think it's G17. If it hasn't come out, maybe it's 18. That's going to have like an f1.2 lens, very, very fast glass. From what I heard, it does not yet do 4K, of course. Canon doesn't believe in adding anything to a 4K camera that's not at least $4,000. So, speaking of strategies, you've got Panasonic and Sony basically leapfrogging each other, trying to come up with things that are cheap and somewhat expensive in Sony's case. Sony has more expensive cameras, not so much Panasonic. Canon, I don't know if Canon is retarded or Canon is super genius. For all you know, they're waiting for Sony and Panasonic to basically implode as they leapfrog each other. And Canon slowly but slowly, it's the tortoise and the hare. They slowly move up and they come up with a 4K camera later that for consumers that'll be cheap. I don't know. Because if you look at Canon, they are high-end right now. They're expensive. We're talking minimum 20. I think the cheapest 4K professional camera they have is the XJ10, I think. I think it's XJ, right?
Yeah, that's right. The new one is about
the
2.5,
XJ10, which is the beginning of the XJ20, I'm sure, in 25, just like they did with the XA10, then the XA20. Now they have the XJ10, which doesn't do quite enough. Then they'll do the XJ25, which will have SDI. But that's a $2,700 camera. So that's replacing the XA25, which used to be in that range when it first came out. So what's the strategy?
And they're saying, I've seen a little review on that the XA10?
Yeah.
No, the
XJ10.
XJ10. And they say it's like
I'm sorry, Jeff. I think it's the XC10.
10. Oh, that's right. I keep getting mixed up. So XC. Close. But I've seen a review on that, and they say it's like it's designed like a mini C300.
No, it looks actually like an X20, like an XA10 or 25. To me, it looks like the XA.
It's more. I thought that one was more like the C100 type format. It had the fixed lens though, but it was more like, and it had, when you saw the review, it looks quite different on that. That's our digital TV. The guys in Hong Kong.
Yes.
I had a look at their review on that.
I should look at that one. I haven't seen it. Now, what did they think of it?
They weren't terribly pleased with it, and especially, and I can see why. It wasn't so much the camera. It's when it's $2,500. It's quite an expensive camera.
No, it's even more. I think here street price is like $2,700, and that's the street price.
And I think it's got the 4K, but I think your XA25s will do a better job.
They may. The XA25 gets a good lens. I saw the Philip Bloom review on it recently, and he liked the XA20 or 25. He thought it was really well done. He had the XA10 before, and he goes, the 20 and 25 really have a nice 20 times zoom, optical zoom. He liked it. He thought it was good. He was over there right on Brighton Beach taking all his shots, and it looked really good, actually. Though it does, it's interesting. It does have actually a small sensor. It is the size of, it's a 1920 by 1080 sensor. Boom. That's it. There's no cropping. It's exactly the size of the output, which they said is good.
Well, I mean, I'm still quite happy with my XA10, which I'm using now today, and the only thing that let it down, well, not so much. It's only had a 10 times zoom, whereas your 25s and the 20s had the 20 times zoom. But even then, a lot of the time, you tend to get in closer with that. If you can't get in it with 10 times zoom, you're too far away anyway.
And if you are on the 10 times zoom or 20 times, any one of those, you've got to be on a tripod. It's going to move. I think they have some. I don't know if the 10 had. I have a 10, but I'm not sure. But the 20 does have some optical image stabilization, but it still moves. It moves quite a bit because they're so small. There's no weight to them. So any little movement just shakes it.
Well, even then, they've got all this stabilization, and yes, it's not shaky, but it still doesn't stop that waving up and down. You know, just
Right.
that slowly, and that's the thing that drives me even crazier than just the jittering thing. It's when you're holding and you know you're not moving, and you can still see it yourself.
Right.
Whether your audience does, but I do. I see every little bit. So I'm tending to these days with my video, just leaving it on a tripod and taking the tripod with me, because I just hate that movement. That's why I'm still looking. I really do want one of those, the 3-axis gimbal things like the not the Movi. That's too expensive, about $15,000. That one is. But what's the Ronin for about $2,000? They've got the Ronin M, which will suit these type cameras.
Will that follow you, or will it follow you, or do you have to actually move it as you go?
This is a carry one, not like a drone.
Right, but will it follow you? Does it have any kind of electronics to follow you?
And it also comes with the remote control on it, so you can stick it on a light stand and then just control it round on there for yourself. So it's really a good handy thing, and about half the price of the other one, but it's made of a lighter material. But it'll take something up to 8 pounds of camera, and I think none of ours are over 8 pounds. I don't think so. So it might be worth giving it a try when they start coming down even a little bit more.
That's true. Now, we have a couple of things that you sent us. What's the first one?
Well, I was looking at during the week, and to see, I know one of the things you didn't like that Microsoft seem to have fixed up now. They've come out with an updated version of Office for the Mac.
I know.
Because I know you always hated the old version, or not so much that version, but it's more so when you're working in Windows and Mac.
It doesn't work well.
You have to go ancient one to the later one.
Well, no, there's another issue too, and that's geometry. When you work on, for example, Office PowerPoint on the Mac, and then you bring it into Office PowerPoint on Windows, your geometry changes. You're going from 16:10 on the Mac to 16:9 on Windows, and it screws you over in so many ways it's not even funny, especially if you're using like e-learning authoring tools like we do. There's a lot of issues on that. So, yeah, from a Mac point of view, and Word doesn't seem to have any of the features that it does on Windows. So you're losing a lot of capabilities when you go to the Mac, and to me that just doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's been, now 3 years since they've upgraded it?
Yeah, well,
4?
Yeah, well, it was the 2011.
11, 4 years, 4.5 years.
Yeah. And the way most of those 2011, I bet that came out in 2010.
Right.
I bet you it's a little bit longer. But so this version, it looks like they might have solved a lot of that. But one of the things, it pretty much looks like Office on Windows, but on a Mac. And they said apart from a couple of things.
Which is the way it used to look. Because they got dinged for looking like Windows, and that's why they changed it to a Mac look.
And now they've gone back and so and they said about the only incompatibilities between the two is where on Windows you can change the ribbon, put it at the top or the bottom, whereas of course you can't on the Mac because of the operating system. And it said just the odd macro might not work. It said, but other than that, everything should be the same. So I thought that's quite good for people who are switching.
But you do realize they called it 2016. Office 2016. Now, we have put our supercomputers to work here. Our mini Cray supercomputer just fits in the palm of your hand, and we've actually put it to work, and it did some incredibly fancy, complex calculations. And if 2016, if you take the values of each number individually, you have 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 6, which is 9. And in German, when somebody asks you, should you upgrade to Microsoft Office 365? 9. See? It's perfect.
How long did it take you to sit there and think about that?
I don't know, about 5 seconds ago. Just kind of came to me. 2016, that's 9, actually. 9. And I thought that you remembered German. You know German, so I figured that would make perfect sense. 9.
So this one is out now, this Office version, but if you're on a subscription. But if you're wanting the full version, that won't be out until about September, so I believe.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
But,
did you get your invite to Office 10, Windows 10, didn't you?
Yes.
And I did too on one of my machines, the one at home. I'm not sure how they're sending you out invites, and sometimes they're just showing up as notification pop-ups. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it.
And I think that's due out 29th, isn't it? It's a few
another
days'
week,
time.
I think,
so
about a week from now. What's today?
25th.
24. So next week.
24.
Next week we should have Windows 10, and you should hear a lot of explosions around the world. Well, hopefully not, but I just wonder how well it's going to work. My fingers are crossed. I want it to work. I want it to be good. I actually like Windows 8.1. I'm enjoying it. So if it's as good as Windows 8.1 and cleaner, boy, I'm going to be pretty happy.
And I think a lot of people will be, because from what I hear about, there's either people who love 8.1 or hate it, but they can't just get rid of it because there's too many people who do like it. So
Right.
this is a good compromise, because it's got all the great things that people like in the current 7 version, but all the great things for the tablet view. What I like with it is its integration with all the different platforms. So if you're doing that on a tablet, then you can use your touch and swipe, and on your phone as well. It's across all platforms. It's designed for, not just for the PC.
Now,
whereas all the other ones have had different ones.
Have you seen some of the podcasts showing some of the looks and feels of Windows 10 phone? It looks nice.
I still don't know how the Windows phone's going to go, because it really needs somebody else to embrace the format as well, doesn't it, rather than just them. So
it'll be interesting, but it looks nice, at least from what I've seen. I like the way they tiled it, and it just looks kind of sexy, and it looks like it might be a good phone. Now, of course, the problem with all the previous Windows phones, you didn't really have the wealth and richness of the apps that you can find on Apple and Android. Android is now pretty caught up to Apple. The apps do work well, and in some respects, I think they work better. In others, they don't. But there are very good apps on Android. Now, I got that LG G4. Now, I don't. Now, I didn't tell you this. You knew the first one. The first one I had a bad screen. Half the screen just kind of disappeared on it, and it would just be really crappy. So 3 weeks after that, I turned it in. They gave me a brand new one, no charge. And that one, last Monday, I had to take it in because it was over 120, 30 degrees on that phone. May have actually been hotter. You could actually probably do an egg on it. It was so hot. And they changed the SIM card at Verizon, and it worked. Now it's been giving me full day battery. Before, it would be okay till about maybe early afternoon. Then it would go from 80% or 90% to literally zero, out of battery in about an hour and a half. And the phone was like, this is hot. I'd be sitting going, man, I'm starting to burn. And it was just getting really hot on me. And it's a phone that runs hot. I would not recommend the LG G4 to anyone at this point. It's a nice phone. It's a beautiful looking phone. It works okay, but I wouldn't recommend it. Too many problems. At least I've had 2 in 6 weeks. 2 problems. That's too much.
Yeah, you expect one, but
but 2 in a row.
A couple with 2 in a row.
Yeah. So what I'm doing now, this phone is going to go to my mom, who barely uses her phone, if at all. So she'll never notice it's hot, and she won't do anything to make it get hot because she doesn't surf or do anything or watch videos.
No.
And I'm going to get the Note 5 in August. It's coming out the mid-August, and it looks good. So I'll probably go with that one.
Because I've still got the Note 4. I don't use the phone a lot, but it's still not a bad phone.
No, it isn't.
Like you said, with the Android, they've got some good apps that work better on that than they do on iOS. Like our HCX 1000 Panasonic camera.
Yes.
There's a remote control app for the iOS and the Android.
Yes.
And I can't get mine to work on the iOS, but I can on the Android quite easily. So you can put that on, and you do the focus. You can change the focus on it when you're doing a one-man show.
Oh, that's
you can
good.
change the iris, the shutter speed, everything from the app. So it's quite a good deal to do with the Panasonic HCX 1000.
I have to get. Do you have the EOS app too?
Yes, I do, but I've never really. Oh no, I don't, because none of my Canons have any Wi-Fi.
Okay.
You've got all the ones that, like the 25.
The 25 has Wi-Fi, and which I never use because the 25s are right in front of me, and so we don't use them except for the shows right now.
I must admit, 25, and I hooked that up to Wi-Fi to have a look, and that worked really well.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I still don't like the touch screen on these cameras that much. I didn't like it on the XA10. It's a little better on the XA25. It's more capacitive, so it really responds better. But I'm not crazy about the touch screens. I think they're too slow for really run and shoot kind of operations. And if you're outdoors, you can't read them anyway. So they're so.
That's correct. That's why you need buttons where you can physically see, click this, click that without looking at a screen. Because
I prefer the buttons.
Outside, unless you put yourself in a box outside and walk around in a fully enclosed box with a camera sticking out, you just can't see a damn thing.
Right. It's really tough. Now, I think we had another product we were talking about. The Manfrotto. You had a Manfrotto.
Yeah, well, that's what I was looking at, because, as I said, with the Manfrotto, I was looking at a Manfrotto tripod, because the other week I was looking at the Benro, so I looked at the Manfrotto, and it was a bit like you said. There was one there, I think it's about $660 Australian, but I still think sometimes you might be paying for the brand name, but I was looking at a few reviews on that. They said it's a great tripod, but it still is a bit
I would
flimsy.
be careful with one thing. If you could go back to that picture for a second.
Yeah.
In the middle, you've got what holds and that looks exactly like the one that we had. We paid about $450 for, and it broke on one shoot.
Yeah.
And then we turned it back in, and we bought a $700 one, which is built like a tank. Never had a problem. But that center thing is loose. It's very weak, and it literally sliced off on one side, and we were just going, oh, my gosh. I was pretty ticked off. One lousy shoot we did, and we were very gentle with it. It broke.
And that's what I liked with the Benro, because the Benro have that in there, but it slides in and out, whereas those ones are sort of solid and they can snap. The Benro snap. You can adjust, so you can adjust each leg, so it's not always have to be fully extended.
I would say that's exactly the same model we had, and this is about 7 years ago. Very similar, and it broke right away. Literally, it broke, and we were shocked, because, I mean, the Manfrotto makes pretty good ones, but that was a weak link in the way the Manfrotto was made. And I don't know if that was originally a Manfrotto or a Bogen. Remember, they bought Bogen at one point, Bogen Manfrotto. I don't think they're still called Bogen Manfrotto anymore, but I may be wrong.
But I've got a couple of Manfrottos, the really good ones for the still ones, but I'm just wanting something a little bit more solid for video. And even these ones that save video, they still seem to be very flimsy. I don't mind if they're a bit heavier, because but the thing that they are, the different things in the video ones, they go much higher. So you can shoot down a bit. Right. So they
no. I tell you, if you change what you're looking at, something like, is it E-Image? E-Image for about, I think they're about $300. They're great. I mean, they're solid. They're solid. I think you can replace the head on them, but they're really solid. They have good, strong legs. They've got a very solid mechanism. I know they're similar to what B&H sells. They have their own brand. I got mine at Sammy's, and they goes, we sell tons of these, and they have a pretty good fluid head that comes with it. And I tell you, I think it was about $300 for the whole thing, maybe a little more, not more than $350, and they were very good. The quality was actually pretty amazing. It's not light; it's a little on the heavier side. You're probably talking 15, 20 pounds, but it's not as heavy as the Manfrottos, which were about 30. So. It's a pretty good tripod, and for the price, hard to beat, and you're not going to break it easily. It is strong.
I might have a look at them, because, as I said, I don't mind them being a little bit heavy, because that's what I'm wanting it for. So it doesn't, it's not as flimsy. And because I said, with video, if you will see the movement. A still camera, you increase the shutter speed, you're not going to see that as much. But when you've got a camera, especially when you zoomed in, any little bit of movement you see on that.
That's right.
Especially if you want to do a bit of time lapse with your video and that.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, that
and
is
then
true.
Another thing I did have, or wanted to, so I was watching during the week, or there's the Pixel Corp do a virtual Final Cut Pro users group.
Ah, yes, you were going to share that one.
Yeah, so they do what they do. They do that every time. They don't have a regular one. It's just whenever they get together and can do it enough, and they're quite entertaining. And one of the things that each of the panelists has to do in each one just show us something about Final Cut that that most people, you wouldn't think most people would know. And we all know in the Final Cut, I don't know if you know, there's sort of like the templates where you can put in place, insert into your video.
Yeah.
And say, oh, now I need a picture of a man and a woman there. And so then you can go out and film it, and so you just insert the video there.
Which
I'll
is
just flip
nice.
to my screen and it'll just show you what it is. So I don't know if you can see my screen. I better get. Oh, there I am on there. Better get rid of my Skype one on there. Didn't see it over there. Hadn't seen it on there. So I've got my. I'm on my Final Cut Pro there. I'm in the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. Go to the Elements. There's these little placeholders there that you've got there. If we go on here, and you can see if I see the nice little pictures over there, and then so it goes over the top of the thing. What I didn't realise you can do with that. Better show the inspector, because I can't do this without showing the inspector on the things on there. It's got all the different things. If you've got the cloudy day or sunny day, but I didn't realise you can do this. You can say none for that. You can say the background for none, and then you've just got your people within, so you don't have to draw a thing. So you can say, oh, in that shot, I want
that's pretty nice.
And
that was it, Geoff. That was instant.
And what you can do though, there, if you can change that one to say one person, okay, I'll drop another one over there. Let's have a drop another one over there and say I've got another one there that I'll just take back to a single one and make that one person again, and I'll make that one a woman on there. Take all the things out, say none on there. Let's extend that one to there, and then what you can do on your transform. Oh, now it's freezing now. Well, I've got me things on here. Of course, the wheel of death happening on the Mac screen on there. So yeah, it's doing that on there. But what you can do is you've got you can do 2 layers, so you can have a single. Just put one and move it wherever you want to. And if you go through motion, you can actually do keyframe them as well. So if you want them moving into a different thing, that's good. Everything's crashed in there. So.
And there you have it, folks. That's a demo.
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
It always happens in a demo.
Just crash. Yep, always does on there. So it just liked my thing. It just wanted to crash on there. So
what was that a background from on your screen? Was that Yosemite?
What's that?
It was Half Dome.
Where's that?
That was Half Dome. Was on your screen, right? Your background.
Where's that?
Yeah, on your desktop background. It looked like.
Oh yes, because it's the Mac. So yes, it was. Yeah, so there's Final Cut back again. Yes, that's Yosemite behind.
It is Yosemite. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Mac version on there. So that's good to have. Oh, see, at least the thing is with the Mac though, it had them still there. They're still there.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can keep. Oh yeah, so they're still there. So see, you can move them out. I can put them over different places, but you can move them about the place. So instead of having to draw an artboard of something, say, I want somebody in the 3rd Street Promenade doing this, you can insert them. So I thought that was just quite a handy little tip that makes them actually usable. And even the people who did that said they didn't realize that. They went out and sort of did a bit more of a storyboard behind it, where they could have just taken a picture and inserted that there and put the characters where they wanted it. But I just thought I'd share that little gem.
That was pretty cool.
On there. We was talking about phones before, and that probably I forgot to mention at that time. There was a little story going on about a Commodore phone, and there was a lot of people talking about saying it was the people who did the Commodore 64 computer,
right?
And people getting excited. I don't know why that company's coming out with phones, but all it is just
they actually have phones. We have a picture of some of their other phones. They actually have quite a few phones. It's just that the one you were talking about isn't anywhere listed.
No.
So these are phones that they already have.
But what they say, a lot of people getting, but all it is just the old Commodore computer company doesn't really exist anymore. But the person who still owns it, they still sort of can't sell out the name.
Interesting.
So somebody's just bought the rights to the name and just put that on there, because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Commodore." We used to like their old Commodore 64s.
And the problem with the Commodore phone is you have to play Pong in order to actually hit the numbers that you want to dial. It's really difficult.
That's right. And to load up apps, you have to connect your tape player to it.
I remember those tape players.
I think it makes you feel that old. People don't even know what a cassette is anymore.
No, that's true. That's true.
that's not that old.
8-track was never that popular, but you had cassettes, and then we went to CDs, which, again, you don't really see much anymore. It's just sort of interesting. And this is all in the span of about 9 years, 10 years. We went from having a lot of technology to it's just totally different again. So, I mean, I remember back when pterodactyls flew across the sky. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the Fred Flintstone, where they used to, have the Brontosaurus burgers.
That's right.
That's
well, Barney. Barney, what are we going to do today?
I think that's about all I had on my list.
Yeah, and I didn't have too much. I was going to do a couple of things, but I think I'm going to leave them for next week.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, we're already at almost 45 minutes.
No,
actually, we're over 45 minutes because we called you early. So it doesn't. We can go. We can just keep going for a long time. Now, when you're watching the show out there in Watchland, keep in mind that Geoff and I are pretty good friends. We tend to do this on our own, and we just decided to share our passion for gear and toys and all that with everybody else. And so these are conversations, and we're very kind and respectful of your time. So we don't do to you what we do with ourselves, which is basically talk for 3-4 hours sometimes. So this actually keeps us somewhat regulated, I guess you could say. Now, Geoff, an interesting tidbit before we let go today. Apple's iWatch came out 2 months ago. They have sold 4 million iWatches. They are now over 3/4 of the market because the Android share is only 1.5 million. And Samsung, which really started the iWatch or the smartwatch business, is down to less than 7% of the whole market, and falling rapidly. Very interesting. Well, but the iWatch,
it is
as mediocre as many people said it is it just, there's too many fanboys and girls who just will buy anything Apple comes up with, good or bad.
Well, I've looked at all the different ones. The only thing I can say about the Apple, and which they do that all the time to everybody, it just feels and looks like something you want to own, no matter about the performance.
See, I don't. It doesn't do it for me. I hate rectangular watches.
Yeah, but to me, it doesn't do anything. I like but I won't buy it because I just can't see the point of that type of watch. My normal watch my normal Seiko, cost me $500 that I bought 7 years ago. I'd never have to charge it up. I could just look at it,
right?
Put it on my wrist, and
it
does
done.
More than enough.
Is that a Kinetic?
As I said, it's no, it's just a battery one.
The battery one, okay? Because they have that Kinetic, which was I had a Kinetic. I don't know what happened to it. I'm not sure I have it anymore.
Yeah, but what a lot of people did, it never used to wind much because people are so lazy these days. And never moved enough to keep it wound up. So, or else you're there going shaking your arm to like everybody's jumping up with their iWatches, the Apple Watch, aren't they?
That's true.
You'll jump up in a meeting because it says you're standing still or you're sitting still. Stand up.
That's right.
And people are doing it. So,
yeah. Yeah, just 4 million in 2 months. That's a lot of sales for a watch that's okay. And they've had, I think, 3 revisions already on it. So, I mean, they've had to fix security issues and some other stuff after the fact. You do wonder sometimes.
That's the big thing with the security on it. It's if somebody takes your phone, all they have to do is press a button and say, do you want to tune it to another phone? Yep, fine. And then it's linked, so it's not like a phone, whereas if somebody steals your phone, at least it's a bit difficult. They can't use it. You can auto-wipe it, but you can't with the phone, the watch yet.
Well, I still find amazing how many people bought that $10,000 gold iWatch. It's like, really? I mean, this is what you have money. You must be really rich.
I think that's the only thing the only people who are buying that are ones to say that I can buy that.
Yes.
And it doesn't make any difference. It's a status symbol to people to say, I've got that much money, I can pay it.
Sure.
And to them, their $10,000 is like $5 to us.
I know, it's pretty amazing, but I have no interest on the. I've looked at them.
No, me neither, not yet.
And like I said, if it had been round, maybe. But I don't like rectangular. I never have liked rectangular watches, and just don't find it all that interesting. And it won't work with anything except, at this point, iOS. Now, they claim they may open it up to Android and other systems, but I don't think so. I don't think Apple thinks that way.
Well, I wouldn't think they would, because I think they want all those people who are wanting it, they'll say, well, they'll switch from an Android phone to an iOS.
Yes.
So they're winning twofold, because there are a lot of people who are doing that don't really want an iPhone, but they have the watch to go with it.
Right.
So they're switching. But
Yeah,
anyway, they'll take
interesting.
over the world. They'll be the when Apple becomes aware, we're better watching.
That's true. Thank God Google's there to save us, right?
That's right.
I don't know.
But I think they're gonna be
Microsoft,
taking over
Google,
the
and
world.
Apple. I think we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So
And now the founder and the astronomers have found a new planet that's much like the Earth now. So they'll be trying to find a way to get there so they can colonize another world.
oh God, what, screw everybody else over? Brilliant. And I'm sure they'll send the lawyers up there first, of course. Yes, that'll be fun. Yeah, maybe they'll find global warming on that planet too. Mm-hmm.
Well, if they don't, we can certainly make it.
Yes, we could ruin anything.
It was just, I was thinking about that. I thought it's quite upsetting if they do find a new place that's so like Earth and all great and that. But why would we even want to go there and destroy that?
Right,
I thought, leave
exactly.
it alone.
Leave it
It's
alone.
okay on its own. Leave it alone.
As it is, we're in space. That's scary enough.
That's right.
Well, anyway, 007, it is time to wrap up this show.
008.
You're 008. That's right. I promoted you again, but 007 is still alive somewhere. So 008, 007 must be about 85, 90 years old by now. He's old. He's been out there a long time.
Right.
Miss
Roger
Moneypenny
Moore is
has
still
way
alive.
gone through menopause. I don't know where Moneypenny is, but she's way gone.
Roger Moore's still alive, isn't he?
Who
Roger
is?
Moore's still alive.
Roger
Yes, I
Moore
think
is
he is.
Roger Moore is 80 something, close to 90,
Yeah, I think he's-
85, 87. He looks good for his age too. And he's been married forever to the gal he met in, I forgot her name. He met her on The Man Who Would Be King. It was a great movie from the 70s.
I know he's been and there's been no scandal with him at all.
No, he's
has
very
there?
clean. He's
So-
been married now for about 40 years. Pretty good guy. Good for him. And, he was good. And him and Roger Moore, and I'm thinking of Michael Caine. He's the one who was married to the gal from The Man Who Would Be King. That was Sean.
okay.
I think that was Sean Connery and Michael Caine. I'm getting them now. Sean Connery retired pretty much. He's in his 80s as well. But he got tired after we did Distinguished Gentleman or something like that. He got so angry he wouldn't do League of Distinguished Gentlemen. He didn't want to do any more movies.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Well, he had quite a long career. Like Roger Moore hasn't done a lot compared to Sean Connery after the Bonds had.
But do you remember? I think Roger Moore was Ivanhoe
Oh, I don't
in the
know,
original
but
series
he
from
probably-
the 60s.
I used to like him in this is dates as The Saint.
The Saint.
He
Da,
was
da,
the-
da,
that was
da.
before-
Yeah.
That was before Simon Templar, so that was before
Simon Templar.
007. But
That's
it was
right.
like 007 in a regular day
Right.
job. But every time this
And then
Halo
there was
used to come
another,
up.
and there was another one he did that people don't remember. I think it was called The Imposters, or something like that. It was with Tony Curtis and Roger Moore, and it was
I seem to
absolutely
remember that,
hilarious.
yeah.
It was a good show. It was on for 2 seasons, so it was actually a lot of fun, but it didn't last too long. I think it
But
was
I'm
called
not-
The
I'm-
Imposters. Maybe not. Something
And you see
like
them
that.
out there in the video shops, and I said, "Yeah, they were great, but I'm not going to pay $50
No.
to see them again. They were cruddy, but I wouldn't mind free, but I'm not going to pay to
No,
see them."
yeah.
When-
No, that would be a bit much. Well, Jeff, we are at the end of another show. The beginning of the next one coming up next week. So, what show was this? This was 39 already.
Ah.
39 years old. Wow, they go fast. And we only started this end of last year. So by the end of this year, we will have 50 shows and then some.
That's right.
50 plus shows.
We'll have to start doing Tech Down Over specials.
That's right. Tech Down Over specials. We are here somewhere doing a Tech Down Over special.
Well, I must admit, I do want to get out with the camera and do something where I can film and put something in the section that we do film. But it's just getting out there and doing it, I think. Well, there's so many things around that you're looking at, learning, and then you've got to fit in work. And then it comes around, it's another week, you still haven't got out with your cameras.
I know.
At least I intend to. I got out in the car looking for places, and then it was, there's so many places to film, but where you drive, you can't find a parking spot. There's nowhere to park there. The loveliest shots you see, that's lovely, but you can't stop the car.
And then when you do stop and you take out all the gear, somebody immediately comes up to you and goes, "Hey, what are you doing there with the camera? You have any money?" Oh gosh.
Yeah, they said, "What are you doing there with the camera?" "I'm baking a cake."
That's right. That's right.
What do you think?
This is a portable Wolfgang Puck oven. Now leave me alone.
I'm filming a porn video out here on the freeway. That's what I'm doing.
That's right.
They always think you're up to.
And then they go, may I watch? No, you can't. Okay, go ahead. Anyway, Geoff, thanks for.
You've got to watch that. You've got to watch that Nightcrawlers. Did you watch that yet?
No, not yet. Nightcrawlers.
You have to watch that.
Nightcrawlers.
Yes, it's all done in L.A. So.
Interesting. I have to watch that. Well, anyway, Geoff, you have a great week, and if you're watching the show right now, please subscribe and hit the like button. We would appreciate it. Anyway, have a good one, everyone. We will see you next week on Tech Down Over. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.